And welcome to Poppy's Workshop. It's been a while since I've been videoing, doing a YouTube, but oh, you know, I don't know how to explain it. Oh, you know what I do need to do? Let me turn my lights on. There we go. Yeah, well now we got some lights on. Isn't that pretty? Um, so anyway, it was winter time and the workshop was cold, and I don't have a lot of people watching, so you know it's one of those catch-22 things. Once in a while I get the urge to tell people what I'm working on. So if you look, I'm doing a dual screen right now, so you'll be able to see the close-up of the blade as I cut. And then, let's see here, there we go, we'll do that. You can see more of the full version of what I'm working on. This is my design. This is based on a statue of King Neptune that is at the oceanfront of Virginia Beach. And I decided to come up with my own take, having the octopus and a couple sharks in it. And then the traditional King Neptune with his crown. I don't know if you can see it on the other side of all my devices here. But yeah, I think the design came out very well. Now comes the cutting part. And as you can see, I have been cutting and working on this. So let me get started. I'm going to do one of his beards here. And let me get my magnifying in place. I'm going to do this without the vacuums on. So the audio should not be too awful bad with the noise. I'm using an off-camera mic. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to back into this. This may not work. Oh, yes, okay. So I try to get very sharp corners, edges. So I use a lot of different techniques, nibbling being the biggest one. And that definitely generated a little bit of heat. Let's slow down a little bit. Oh, you hear my compressor going on. Off my line a little. I think this blade is starting to dull out. There we go. So these lines are about 1 point, a little bit less than the thickness of the blade, or maybe about the thickness of the blade. My goal is to always split these lines as best as possible, like this part here. You can see that I missed here, and being that this is more abstract, it's not super critical, but I try to stay within half a length. I didn't here. I may actually go back and clean this up, but my goal is to be as accurate as possible. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to back into this. So I'm going to turn my blade around. Oh, I may not have enough space to do that. Let me nibble out a little turning space here. There we go. So what I just did is I nibbled out a little space in the waist area so that I could turn this blade around. So I've got it. I'm going to back my way into what I just cut, and this way I can start on the other line. So this is a technique that I use for certain lines. Get that started. There we go. Let's see if I can stay on the line now. I am using 1/2-inch butternut. I've got 2 pieces glued up, so this is a double stack, so it's 1 inch thick. And if I remember, the Janka on butternut is in the 400s, so it's a fairly soft wood, beautiful wood when it's finished. But when you're doing stack cutting like this, it's really, really nice. So now I'm trying to clean up my entry point. Okay, let me clean that up. All right, guys, that one out. I don't know if I can get that one out. Come on. Nope. Trying to get the second piece out. There we go. Let's get those. So I think you can see. Yeah, so this here is a U.S. General tool cart. I actually have the drawer on the other side here. There we go. And you know, I use these little test tubes that are from Zip Fizz to hold my my different blades. And then magnet, I don't think you can quite see it. No, it's cut out. But down below is a tray. So I'm going to take the tray off. It's, come on. That's got a really good magnet. There we go. Let's get this out here. So I've got this tray here. Let me turn it around. That is magnetized. There we go. And yeah, there, now you can see it. And I throw my scraps in, and I also keep a brush and my little pokey pointer. And then sometimes my blades, I don't think I use them enough, but I have to switch. So these are the blades. Well, that one's kind of bent, I think. Yeah, let me get rid of that one. Yeah. So these are the blades that still have a little bit of life left in them. And let me get that back in place. Why isn't that going? There we go. You heard the magnet. It's a really strong magnet. And then you can't see it, but right down by my knee is a holder, a cup holder for my liquids. So what I want to do, let's see, I'm going to clean up some of my lines. I mean, I'm taking off so little. Yeah, this is where I was off a little bit more. Let me do it this way. I mean, I really don't have to. I'm being really anal. Taking off just a tiny, maybe taking off a little bit too much there. Yeah, this is where you consider you don't want to go back. ultimately, when I do this, I want it to look like as perfect as possible. That a laser did it. Let's see. One of the issues I have, I can't see what the heck I'm doing. I got to do it the opposite way. And I drilled small holes. Come on, baby. And if I don't get it in, there we go. All right, this is a fun one. So here's a double. So let me, let's see if I can show you. Yeah, okay. So this is my lock line. This goes to my vacuum system. So this is what I call a top vac. Now, one of the tricks that I did, I actually, let me get this plastic piece out. There we go. Get this down and in front. Yeah, I can't see where I'm going. There we go. So this is actually to a kitchen faucet that helps the kitchen faucet spray. But with all the little holes in it, it happened with a little bit of dremeling, fits perfectly into that. So when I get tiny, teeny weeny little pieces and everything, I don't have to worry about them getting sucked up into my system. The main thing is if I'm trying to cut out small pieces for intarsia, for example, but it's also to keep the pieces from going. Well, I do have the tornado, the vortex, before my my vacuum system, so it gets like 98% of the stuff. But you know, if I'm doing small pieces, I don't want them getting sucked up in. But that's just a personal preference. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to, let's see, turn that around here. I think you can see. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, let me get this light a little bit away. I'm going to come down this left side of this spiky part, cut that back out, and then I'm going to come down this side here. From there, I'm going to back my way back in, and then I'm going to do this part. And then I'll show you an example of a nibble back here. I don't know if you can see that. I'll nibble here, and then I will go around and complete that particular piece. That piece getting cut out of his beard. So that is the goal. Actually, can't see what I'm doing here. My eyes are getting old. When I cut, I try to be very intentional in my cuts, very deliberate. And I don't rush. I take my time. I watch how the blade is moving and responding. And you can hear when I add a little pressure. So I try to use all my senses. I feel the bore, the vibration, the pressure, and then I listen to how the blade is sounding, whether it starts chattering as it dulls, for example, or when I slow down the actual cut. Well, just nicked it. That's something that I don't like doing. All right, I am not seeing. And then, of course, believe it or not, I actually use my nose, especially on sharp turns, tight turns. I can smell when the wood is starting to scorch. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to nibble this turn here rather than backing in. I'll show you 2 nibbles. All right, so I back out a little bit, and I'm just trimming very lightly. And smoothing it. And some may say, well, that's really slow doing it that way. Yeah, sometimes it is. So theoretically now, I should have, in this space here, there it is, enough room to turn around. And then it gives me enough room to clean up that little spot there and continue going the other way. And it gives you very clean, or in this case I made it a little bit round. And I'll show you how I do a sharp one. One of the things, especially when you're doing, for example, compound cutting, and you're using 1.5 inch wood, and maybe even harder woods, say for a chest set, there's a lot of times a lot of details, say in the tassels, the rooks, and the chances of scorching are very high. Now, nibbling works very well on 90 degree. This one is about 45 degrees, I think. But the two will work well. So here I go, and I try to make the line disappear. Then I'll turn a little bit, and then I'll edge it. Now I could actually make my turn here, more of a quicker turn, but I'm going to do this, so show you how clean you make your piece. So here, if you take a look, you can actually see the very sharp edge of the turn. Now I do need to go in just, I think, let me see here. Yeah. I only went through half the line. So I'm going to try and make that line disappear. There we go. All right. So now, rather than turning with it on, which I usually do, I can just, whoops, get it right up against, turn it, and now I'm set up for the next line. But a lot of times what I do is I'll only take maybe 2 swipes to get that sharp corner, and then that gives me enough room for the blade to start fitting in with minimal resistance and heat. All right, we're almost there. Getting to the home stretch. Don't be afraid to go slow. When I have my noise canceling headphones on, music on, I'm meditating as I concentrate, and it becomes a very enjoyable process. You know, rushing, no need for it. Here we go. I think I got it. Let me clean up that little point there. I think that. See if that pops out. There we go. All right. So I just tightened up my arm. This is a 30-inch Pegasus. Some days I wish. Let's see, let's get that in front there. So you can see it in the lower, where we're at right now. So that's it. I think we've got a good start. I'm going to keep on moving on. I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, looks like 7 more to go before I need to start drilling again. Let me switch over to the wide. There we go. So, yeah, not a lot of light on this side. I need to bring that back in. But you can kind of see it. Let me get under the light here. No, can't see. Oh, well. Try to show. No, can't do it. What a bummer. Let's go to the top again. Yeah, you can see a little bit more here. So you can see the Virginia Beach. Let me get this out of the way. I thought I was getting out of the way. Here we go. You can see the Virginia Beach. You can see the octopus. Shark right here. And believe it or not, oh, let's get that where you can see it. Shark right here. And then lots of suckers. Lots of suckers all over the place here. So that's going to be very, very grueling. I don't know how many there are. I mean, there's at least 100. So I didn't really think about that as I was designing it. But I knew when I did this piece, originally I wanted to do it as an ornament, but as I looked at it, as I was designing it after sketching, excuse me, it's too much dust when I don't have my vacuums on. I just kind of thought, yeah, that's a little bit too much to make it as a 4x4 ornament. Do I have any here? Yes. So, hey, let me show you before we go. This is, here we go. There we go. Let me get the light up higher. This is my most recent design. This is the second in the series of Walk of Faith. My first one was Moses parting the Red Sea. And you can see those. I don't know if I blogged them out on poppysworkshop.org yet. I think I do have them. If you scroll to the bottom of the main page, I do have them in the gallery. But I'm doing a series, multiple series, I should say. So the first 4 will be looking like this, and then I'll do some maybe on the birth of Jesus, Christmas, and things like that. But it all has to do with walking in faith. And then I'm also doing, this is the second in, well, let me rephrase that. I have 2 ornament sizes that are for Virginia Beach. One that has turtle, fish, and I forgot what else it has. Oh my gosh. 2 turtles, fish, and some shells. And then I have one that is a lighthouse with waves and the sun. And 2 more in that series for the ornaments. I'm looking at surfers, and oh, the other one does have a sailboat with the lighthouse. Maybe a sailboat by itself, or beach people. So I'll do a series of 4 there. I do have Norfolk, Virginia, and I have the Mermaid. It's called the Mermaid City. So I will use that for that ornament. Not sure what else I'll do. Fiddling around with the USS Wisconsin, the battleship that's over at the Nauticus at the Half Moon, and trying to simplify it. Just doesn't look right yet. So we'll see how that goes. And then I'm also trying to do some for the Norfolk Botanical Gardens. My goal, I'd like to get into the gift shop there and see what they'll take. The first one that I'm going to do is a large size like this. I'm going to do the 200 women, which I forgot whether it was 1928 or 38, where 200 African American women and 20 men basically cleared out 75 acres of swamp and then planted tens of thousands of azaleas and other plants to basically create Norfolk Botanical Gardens. So something they're very, very proud of. They have a statue. So I did one. I'm going to do an art piece. I already have it designed. So much simpler than this. Of the 200 women, a representation of it, which will be 3 women, 1 planting a tree, 1 watering, and 1 digging. So I think that'll be really, really nice. So a lot is going on. Maybe I'll get back to another video sooner rather than later. And we'll see how this is progressing. And if you want, leave some comments as to what you would like to see in terms of tips, techniques, how I do things, how I get absolutely straight lines, all that. Oh, and this is a number 5 Flying Dutchman Ultra Reverse Blade. This is my go-to blade. Generally, when I do outsides like this, I'll probably go to a number 7 to do the perimeter, as I prefer to call it. So the perimeter will be a number 7, and maybe some of these smaller ones here, I may use a number 3. And we'll see how that goes. But number 5 is my go-to. I'm most happy with it and most successful. So that's it for this episode of Poppy's Workshop and what's on the scroll saw. Hey, may the Lord richly bless you and make it a great day right here at Poppy's Workshop.